Hello, today is January, it's February 4, 2025, and this is latest links episode of our project. We are going to talk today about different subjects such as paintings, language, cuneiform writings, the book Forgotten Knowledge, DZED, Q Movement, Orbs, Montauk Project, Falkland Island War. I have a new vlog series, Travel Notes. It's in Romanian with a caption in English caption. So you can, if you are interested, you can understand setting up the caption in English. And the books that I'm reading and listening on audio. And we have an external link. So let's start with the first subject. Let's share the screen. My latest paintings, Blowing in the Wind. It's an acrylic painting available for sale for if somebody is interested. The next painting is Waiting for Mommy. Again, acrylic painting. This is a very small painting. The next one is the Cutie, a dog in the garden. And I have another cute little dog painting. So these are my works that I've done in January 2025. I have a blog series, Alphabet Collection, and a new entry of language and cuneiform writings. So this is a table with the evolution of characters from 4500 BC to late Babylonian writing, cuneiform writing, 500 BC. You see the sun was represented, how was the sun represented 4500 BC. The writing evolved in archaic cuneiform, then Assyrian, then late Babylonian. Let's take, for example, the man. We see in 4500 BC on clean characters, it's a man sitting on the ground. And archaic cuneiform, the same man evolved in a different, the representation was a little bit changed. Assyrian 700 BC, the representation was further evolved and Babylonian has a different symbol for the same man. They started with the basic symbols of the sun, God, mountain, man, ox, fish, heart, hand, hand and arm, grain. So initially, the representation were closer to nature. And in time, this representation have been changed, simplified, or sometimes were complicated, were more complex. Net, you see how initially net look like a net. And then they kept changing the symbols. Enclosure, very, very realistic representation. Sumerian language is the oldest known written language. The language is called spike because of the wedges. So spike, spiken, speak. Wedge-shaped her lines and later used to write very different language, such as Akkadian, Ogarit, secular, and other. It was also adopted to some European Hindi languages, such as He language, which is also had hieroglyphic writing, such as those in the ancient Egyptian, despite their independence from the later. As the Persian Al-Kimi adopted nails writing. During the 3rd millennium BC, there was a cultural coexistence between Sumerian, upper-speaking Akkadian, which included bilingualism on a wide scale, and the influence between Sumerian is manifested in all fields of school. Consider this area of convergence of Sumerian Akkadian language. So Hassan Mostafa on Facebook is the source of this information. I have a presentation of the book of my book, Forgotten Knowledge, where it's 1 hour and 44 minutes. I will not give you the entire presentation. We are talking about the Library of Assurbanipal. We are talking I'm talking about Anunnaki, about genetic modification that were that human were subjected to. Ancient text about technology. I found text about building of the Giza pyramid, and the fact that inside the Giza pyramid there were 28 different types of stones, colored stones, that were destroyed by one of the wars between Anunnaki, and they were called the Pyramid War, and the stones were stolen or destroyed. Some stones were moved in present territory of Iraq, that was called a different name at the later date. And this information comes from the cuneiform tablets found in the Library of Ashurbanipal in Iraq. I'm talking about Atlantis, magnetic pole reversal, about human powers that were intentionally kept underdeveloped in the present race because without knowing your power, you can easily be controlled. And this information came from Ingo Swann, the psychic spy of United States that wrote 17 books. And I read all of them. And the information that is connected with this subject I presented in this book. So I present different symbols and so on. I have another blog where I talk about
who was believed to be the god of the underworld,
the Jed, one of the symbols of ancient Egypt is called Djed. This is in my history blog. And this...
with 4 parallel bars at the top.
Let's listen.
4 cardinal points.
So this Djed was an object that later on the present engineers of Egyptian African technology figure it out that can be used as a battery if you alternate copper, zinc, and an isolator. But in this presentation talks about
believed to have protective powers. It was often placed in tombs and other sacred spaces.
So this is the Djed.
As an amulet. In modern times, the Djed continues to be a popular symbol in Egyptian culture and is often used in art, jewelry, and other decorative items. The Djed has a long history in ancient Egyptian culture and has been dated back to the pre-dynastic period, circa 6000 to 3150 BCE. It is believed to have originally represented a pillar or column that supported the roof of a building or a shrine. Over time, the symbol came to be associated with the god Osiris and was used as a symbol of stability and endurance. The Djed was a popular symbol in ancient Egypt and appeared in a variety of contexts, including tombs, temples, and other sacred spaces. It was often depicted in art and was worn as an amulet for protection. The Djed continues to be a significant symbol in Egyptian culture and is still used and revered today. Many people confuse the Djed with the Ankh, but the Djed and the Ankh are 2 distinct symbols that have a long history in ancient Egyptian culture. The Ankh is something different. The Ankh is a symbol that represents life and immortality. It is a cross with a loop at the top and is often depicted being held by gods and pharaohs as a symbol of their power and authority. The Ankh was also a popular symbol in ancient Egypt and was often depicted in art and worn as an amulet. While the Djed and the Ankh are often associated with ancient Egyptian culture and mythology, they are distinct symbols that have different meanings and histories. But what deities were seen holding or wearing a Djed? As I told you a few moments ago, the Djed symbol was associated with the god Osiris, but the Djed was depicted being held by Osiris or other deities as a symbol of their power and authority. The Djed was also associated with the god Ptah, who was the patron god of craftsmen and artists in ancient Egypt. Ptah was often depicted holding a Djed, and the symbol was sometimes associated with him as a symbol of his creative power. The Djed was also used as a symbol of stability and endurance in ancient Egypt, and it is often depicted in tombs and other sacred spaces as a protective talisman. The Djed symbol continues to be an important part of Egyptian culture and is still revered and used today. It can often be found in a variety of contexts, including art, jewelry, and other decorative items. The Djed is often depicted as a standalone symbol, but it is also sometimes incorporated into other designs and used as a decorative element. In modern times, the Djed is often used as a symbol of Egyptian heritage and cultural identity.
Okay, so this is a representation of one of the most important symbols of ancient Egypt. The next subject we are going to talk, my next blog is what is Q? So we are listening to one of the person involved in this movement.
Kicked off shortly after Kennedy's death, JFK's death, 63, so it's been over 60 years.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
Now the trumpet summons us again. They call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny.
Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce.
So there is a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot.
Struggle may be. It may never be declared in the traditional fashion.
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. All this.
So this enslavement is infiltration. Through infiltration via taxes. We pay heavy taxes. We subject ourselves to all kind of medical vaccines and so on.
This will not be finished in the first 100 days. No.
And so they grew and grew, and they worked undercover, and they started to build up a team of senior officers who decided that something had to happen. Now at some point, they're looking at options as all military officers do when they're planning. And they don't say right and wrong. When they do a plan, they work out what's workable and what's not. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? Yes. Is this workable? So they're looking at workable options to save the United States. One of the options was a military coup d'etat. Literally, just take it over, clean up the filth, and then hand it back to the people. That was rejected, as was when we were looking at it in Australia before we even knew about white hats. We determined that coup d'etat or a violent uprising would create such a wound that it would never be healed, and that's if it succeeded. And if it didn't succeed, then it would give the black hats every opportunity that they wanted to do, because the people still believe it. They don't believe it now. After all that's occurred, the people still don't believe there's something odd going on. And so they decided to penetrate the institutions, the universities, the schools, the media, the unions, business, the politics, the judiciary, the constabulary, the military. That's what they did. They penetrated the lot. And so they grew and grew, and they worked undercover, and some had to go work undercover, and undercover's a dirty business because you do the dirty things with dirty people to prove your bona fides. And it's based largely on Marines and Navy. And there are somewhere between 200 and 300 flag ranking officers, which is general rank, Marines and Navy, and other services too, but it's strongly based on the Marines and the Navy. And they've been working behind the scenes to penetrate, understand.
So this is the cemetery where Kennedy is buried.
And then when the time came, begin to undermine the black hats, the deep state. So that's what it is. That's what Q is.
We're putting together an army to take on this
cultural Marxist and economic Marxist war that had been declared a long time ago.
And this last counteroffensive started the year before Trump was elected.
With this strategy, we are calling for a great reawakening of America.
And when there's two or three or 300 generals and admirals, that doesn't mean 200 or 300 people. Each one of those people controls a large swathe of capability, if that makes sense.
We have over 200 generals and admirals supporting us.
And so that means you've got large amounts. And so it's taking time to select the right people that are trustworthy, because undercover work is hugely risky. And that's who it is. That's who's actually doing it. And these guys are just good soldiers that know what's right, what's wrong, what's lawful, what's not. And that's why they have pursued this in a completely lawful way. You can read the Law of War, and that's the rule they're following. And so they recruited Trump, the Q movement, the generals and admirals recruited Trump. You're going to become president, but you have to win it legitimately. We can't place you in there. You've got to win it. And once you're in, here's the plan. And Trump had a look at it. And he said, okay, let's go.
In my former life, I was an insider. Now I'm being punished for leaving the special club. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. This is not simply another 4-year election. Nobody knows the system better than me. I have seen firsthand how the system is rigged against our citizens. This is a conspiracy against you, the American people.
So it's a delicate game they've been playing. So that's what's been going on. And we can say that because the people don't want to believe it, don't want to believe it, they never will, that's fine. And the rest of us know this is the truth. And so I hope that answers your question. It's been a long, slow journey in the process. There are forces at play beyond your comprehension. They have this in hand, but you must still do what's required. You've got to step up when you've got to step up. You're going to do what you're going to do. It is incumbent upon each and every one of you watching this to understand that you must take a leading role.
This is a struggle for the survival of our nation. Believe me. And this will be our last chance to save it. Join me in taking back our country.
So this is real, whether you want to believe it or not you, but...
Okay, so that's how Q movement started, and apparently is real. It's alive. The enslavement is connected with Greada Convention, Greada Treaty, where extraterrestrial species had a contract with some people in U.S. government to basically to switch people to allow them to come to Earth and give United States technology in exchange for being allowed to abduct people. And then this was a way of infiltration, and they want to control. That's my understanding. It's possible to be correct or incorrect. To control the entire human race. And United States, some people in United States were tricked in this contract of infiltration because they wanted technology. And they also infiltrated. There is another part of Germans that infiltrated in the Nazi Germans that didn't actually lose the war, but they moved to Antarctica with the intention that in 100 years they will come back and control the world. So there is a multiple facet of reality. Now we are invaded by, not invaded. Some are Earth drones, and some are extraterrestrial, some are larger ships that are coming over the Earth. There are human spherical reconnaissance unnamed aerial vehicle, SRUAV, military orbs. At the forefront, the spherical orbs represent a paradigm shift in reconnaissance, surveillance, and combat strategy. Their ground-breaking design combine the agility, stability, and stealth, making them unparalleled maneuvering complex. So that's how they look like. And I left the link to the source of this information. Military orbs are designed for offensive operation. We can see them almost every day in the sky. Some look plasmatic. You don't know which are which, but for sure there is a deployment of such orbs. Ranging between 3 and 8 kilograms, these devices integrate cutting-edge anti-gravity propulsion system, enabling, let's see if I'm sharing. Okay, yes, I'm recording. Anti-gravity propulsion system, enabling them to reach extraordinary speed to 15 meter per hour or mile per hour, 15,000. Armed with precision, payload delivery system, and dark targeting algorithms, military orbs transform the battlefield by combining stealth with surgical strike capability. And people are not even allowed to have a gun. Their stealthy nature allow for deep penetration into enemy territory. Who are the enemy? We, the people on Earth, have done nothing to these people. And their payload delivery systems are capable of executing high precision strike, making them invaluable operation in Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, where drone strike played a pivotal role. So that's how the drones look like. Now we have another video that James Rink.
Hello, everybody. James Rink here, and
talks about
Montauk.
Talks about Montauk project. He is on Long Island, where a project of paperclip Germans that were brought in United States were part of, and used children and people of United States to test mind control techniques that they started them in Nazi Germany. And at one point, this facility was dismantled, but the land still has the energy of whatever they have done to people. tests on unaware people that were abducted. The information came through a transmission from Saint Germain. One day I will talk about Saint Germain. I will give you more information. I read few big books about Saint Germain. So these were place of very negative things that happened in Long Island. Montauk was a Native American tribe that lived on that part of Long Island, New York. Long Island is very close to Manhattan, New York, in New York City. Falkland Island War had more to do with Nazi than with Argentina. The Germans after World War II. So I'm reading actually a book, Fire from the Sky, and from this book I found out this information, and I just write just a little bit about the information written in this book. Germans from Antarctica base began infiltrating to Argentina and Chile and bought large tracts of land and set up corporation. They invested in corporation in Germany and elsewhere with the plan to come back. They used German treasure from other nations and counterfeit American currency printed on real US currency printing plates given to Russia and captured by Germans. Some plates were stolen by U.S. Treasury Harry Dexter White. His real name was Weiss under Henry Morgenthau, and sent to Soviets for used in occupied Germany. Edgar Hoover went to President Truman with all the evidence. Truman removed Weiss from his job and promoted him as head of International Monetary Fund. When a controversy developed in press, Weiss became a suicide. So strange things happened in the past. Now I have, so this is the list of blogs that I have since latest links episode, and now I'm going to show you a few images from my videos. This documentary are in Romanian, but you can have caption in English, I think. And I present Astor library and strange images that are on the Astor building. On the exterior, on the Astor building, I present the interesting artifacts on churches, on cathedrals in New York City. Statues that look like from Star Trek, and so on. Another video that I have, it's about Sarmisegetuza Regia. That's in Romania, the capital of Dacians. A trip I've done to that place. Again, the video, it's in Romanian. Another video I prepared. This it's National Museum. Is Anthropological Museum of Mexico City, and a very strange statue that they have discovered in Mexico City. A visit to the museum with picture and video recorded at this museum. For example, this part is a reproduction of the facade of a pyramid at Teotihuacan, which is a Olmec, apparently was Olmec capital, the capital of the Olmecs, according to some sources. According to others, they don't know exactly. They found temples very well preserved with colors intact, but now they just reproduce these colors in the museum, and including the statues. And this is the symbol of Quetzalcoatl, the feather serpent. I continue in another video documentary, 1 hour 42 minutes long, the visit to this museum. This is a reproduction of a game where Maya people played, so two equipes play against each other, and the winner actually was killed and given to the gods. Apparently, I don't know what gods they had, but they had very strange gods. In another part of the video, you can see the former territory of Mexico City. That was established by the Aztecs. The Aztecs went around this lake. The lake has no water, and there are buildings on the bottom of the lake, and these buildings belong to Mexico City. But when was built, the present territory of Mexico City was a lake. The city was called Tenochtitlan, and the lady talked about Aztecs going around to this lake until they found a bird with a snake in her mouth on a cactus. So they went around this lake 40 years or 400 years, and in the end, they found this eagle actually with a cactus, with a snake in his mouth and on a cactus. And that's what their God told them, that to establish the city where to live. Going around this lake, they found each community had a god. Then they start, because the island in the center of the lake had nothing. They went, conquered the villages. They took their gods, and then they charged a fee, which was a tax for the people to come and pray to their own gods. And that's how Mexico, the Aztecs started the Mexico, the present Mexico City, the place that later became Mexico City. And the eagle with the snake in his mouth on a cactus is the symbol of Mexico City. It's on the flag of Mexico. So let's go to the next subject, fire from the sky. So now I am reading this book, Fire from the Sky, Battle of Harvest Moon, the true story of the space shuttles. Author Committee of 12, To Save the Earth, and editor Commander X. You can find a lot of information, really very real information, a very compact information. In the middle of the book, you will find also a biography of Nikola Tesla with a lot of information about his childhood, how his invention became, how soon how early in life he had the first invention. Another book that I'm listening, it's a book, it's Valiantor, Book of Vril, Live Long and Prosper. He talks about a lot of natural laws that if they are respected, the human body can be kept healthy and young for a long time. I highly recommend this book. It's very easy to listen, very easy to read. You can find it on paperback format also. The next subject, an external link, Project Camelot. She presented, Kerry Cassidy is the owner of this website. She has a lot of very good information, and she has conferences in England, but she lives in United States, in California. It's my understanding from her video. I never met her. So in this part, she presents Alex Collier Awake and Aware conference in 2009, and he presents the history of Earth and the connection with extraterrestrial races that exist in the subterranean caverns. It's time for us to know about positive and negative people that coexist with us on this on the Earth. And the last subject that we are talking about is my my website. UC Book Sale, one of my first book, I left it at the top. Mathematics, Theory, Test, and Solution. My last book is Buildings and People. Then Forgotten Knowledge. I'm trying to create a 1 or 2 hour presentation of each book. First, these two I have already the presentation, and you can find this presentation on the description of the book. Okay, short presentation, long presentation. Okay, and then I'm working now on energy project. It's almost done, like a documentary based on this book. I have another book, The Fascinating Teaching of Valiant Thor. So these are information from reading Valiant Thor's books that were new for me, and I recorded them and try to find on internet if the information is correct or not, if it's correlated with what other people are saying, and apparently it is. And I found pictures of, so his book were text only, but I tried to find pictures of every information that was new for me at that time. Knowledge from Beyond, this is based on Dolores Cannon and Jane Roberts. So each one wrote over 17, 20 books. And what was new for me, I recorded. And again, research further and try to find if they are real or not. I will be doing videos on this book too. Egypt travel notes. I had a visit to Egypt, a 2 weeks visit to Egypt, which was I can say it was very impressive. You start to ask yourself a lot of questions, how they move so many blocks of stones. Did they have machines in the past? Why did they need buildings that have columns of 2 meters in diameters, and they were so tall that we are very small compared to these buildings. Forest and Tree. So I have a set 6 books based on a blog that I started and created for I think for 5 years. I worked on these 5 books or 6 years. Forest and Tree, Tree and Medicinal Plants, Tree That Heal, Environment and Medicinal Tree, Tree with a Purpose, Forest, Reforestation, and Medicinal Tree. So in this series regarding books, I had an in-depth research about deforestation, the destruction of the environment, about the uses of trees. So at one point I was almost in distress when I saw the destruction that human race is still doing to this earth. That's not right. And it was a plea to stop logging, stop using tree as resource. They are we need them for living. And another things that I found are people that think the same as I do, and they started different type of projects to recover the forest. People that single-handed planted large forest, or people that reinvented a system of permaculture, which means you plant tree, you plant plants, and in the mean and this ecosystem that is not uniculture maintain itself in some region. This system of permaculture exists for 2,000 years. I research South American forest, and they are what they have discovered, that they had some sort of canals that actually kept the water, and the plants were built around these canals, and we have now very large forest in South America that some crooks, that because I cannot say anything else, they try to destroy and use them just for wood. Again, it was a very ups and down research, very emotional, because the trees are actually are living beings, and yeah. This research about trees was you can find part of it on my blog. Has over 500,000 viewers. I think I can. And I have another book, Wisdom Secrets, where I collected a piece of different pieces of universal law, and pieces of wisdom from different people, different sources, and yeah. So you can find this book here. All of them are available in electronic format. I have 9 of them in paperback format. So this was my presentation for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Liliana Usvat. This was the latest links edition of February 4, 2025. Thank you for your time, and see you next time.